happen some years later. But more importantly, they were offered a glimpse of hope that the God who had rescued them from slavery in Egypt was still with them and would continue to be with them. And that's often all it takes for hope to survive. To know that someone is walking with us, whether that someone is another person or ultimately God. And sometimes, whether we care to admit it or not, sometimes death has to occur in order for new life to begin. Jesus spoke about it as the seed falling in the ground and needing to die in order for something new to sprout. I've seen organizations, even congregations, that have floundered, and it was only when they were at their end, seemingly dry bones, that something new was allowed to begin. We can hang on so tightly at times that we never allow something new to spring forth. Now, I'm not sure whether in the midst of this pandemic that we're in, we've reached the point of despair or not. But clearly people are getting sick and dying. There are many people fearful of the unknown, of what lies ahead. As someone said recently, this is the most Lenten Lent that I've ever been through. It's a time when we could easily feel as though hope is gone. And so, as we approach these final weeks of Lent, I invite us to contemplate and live through the pain and suffering of Christ and of the world around us. Perhaps it's not as hard to do in the midst of this pandemic that we're in. But let us feel the grief of loss, the oppression of those who are kept underfoot, the alienation of the marginalized, same kinds of burdens that the prophet felt. And then when we can truly appreciate the valleys, we will be all the more ready to release ourselves to God who alone knows if these bones can live or not, to the Spirit that can come from the four winds and breathe life into even the driest of bones. We have that promise of resurrection shown to us in Jesus. Jesus who raised Lazarus and who he himself was raised, the first fruits of all who died. Show us, O God, your power over death itself. Amen.
As a ritual of response, I know we are not together to be able to do something collectively, so I thought something that would be nice for each of you to be able to do at home is to look outside your window and find a tree. And look at that tree and notice its barren limbs at this time. And over the next course of weeks, I encourage you to watch as that tree will begin to bud, and new life will begin to spring forth from that tree. Although the day is gray, and maybe a little cool out now, spring will come, new life will come, and resurrection will come. So I encourage you to hold on to that hope. We'll sing together, or it will be played for us, the hymn from Hymnal Worship Book 472, I am the bread of life. And I encourage you to listen at the end for the refrain that says, and I will raise you up, and I will raise you up, and I will raise you up on the last day.
to our prayer time. We won't be sharing prayer requests from the congregation this morning, but we invite you please to send your praises and prayer requests to Mary so that she can send those out early this next week. So please send those in by Monday morning. What we will be sharing together this morning, as you're listening, is a prayer put out by Mennonite World Conference, Mennonite Church USA, a prayer for this time of pandemic and uncertainty. So please pray with us. God, we pray for people in the U.S. and around the world impacted by the coronavirus. We pray for comfort for those who have lost loved ones and for those who have been quarantined and are feeling utterly alone. We pray for healing for those who are sick. We pray for safety, strength, and compassion for medical workers who may be overwhelmed caring for those who are battling various illnesses and workers who are exposed to greater risks. We pray, God, that our public officials act with compassion and wisdom as they work to contain the virus. We pray for those without access to health care, for those who don't know how they will make it if they get sick and can't go to work. We pray that your peace will guard our hearts and minds so that we are not overcome by anxiety and fear. God, inspire in us ways to show your love to one another and to ourselves. Guide our hearts and our actions to greater care, kindness, and generosity in the midst of these fears and uncertainties. Amen.
And now for the benediction. May you go forth filled with the breath, life, and power of Jesus, our God, who is not only the creator of life, but the restorer of life. Amen.